The meme season on the SUI network could potentially be one of the strongest since the launch of Solana. Just think back to Solana, which went from just a few cents up to several $100s, providing thousands of X's in returns to its early holders, funds, and so forth. That's also when the first meme coins were being launched on that network. They were the ones driving up the market cap and the overall activity of the network itself. So why couldn't SUI repeat a success like that? Especially since, as I mentioned in my previous video, and if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. Right now, there are major infrastructure partnerships happening for the SUI network, for instance, with Coinbase. They have integrated it across all layers and essentially placed it on the same level as Ethereum. Next, they launched their own stablecoin, and literally today, May 4th, at the time of recording this video, SUI was listed by the CME, which happens very rarely, and it's placed SUI in the same category as other assets like Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, and so on. On the SUI network itself, there aren't actually that many coins, only about 10 or so. At least those are the ones everyone's heard of. I'm personally placing my bet on a few projects, and the first of those is Hippo. It first appeared back in December of 2024. Back then, the market was quite lively, and at its peak, it had a market cap of around $300 million, but since then, it's been steadily declining with only minor bounces. There were long periods of accumulation, but even after those, it just continued to drop further down, and now it seems to have found its bottom somewhere around $1.5 to $2 million in market cap. Plus, it was delisted from several smaller exchanges, but nevertheless, it's still being traded in some places and I think could still show some potential, considering how much it's been beaten down and the fact that this little hippo's Twitter account is still active. The admins are still posting content, and the pinned comment on their Twitter leads me to believe that they're trying, or at least going to attempt, to replicate the success of Mudeng, their older brother, which also launched with a similar narrative on the Solana network, reaching a market cap at one point of $600 to $800 million before it was also dragged down along with the rest of the market. As for EPO, after that major pump back in December of 2024, it essentially hasn't shown much of anything else since then. There haven't been any listings on the top tier exchanges, and I feel like there's still every chance that this project is going to survive. At least that's what I'm betting on, and I'm adding it as a small percentage to my own personal portfolio. And now the main thing is just to wait for more activity on the SUI network, and then perhaps this little hippo won't be left out of the action. The second project is actually a bit larger than the one we just looked at. It is Lofi. Its market cap at the peak was around $200 million. Now it's been beaten down, of course, along with the rest of the market to a $3 to $4 million market cap. There was recently a listing on Binance US, which seems to confirm that the project is still very much alive and being actively managed. Well, you can also take a look at their Twitter, read through it, and see that the team is still putting in some work. Essentially, this is also just a meme token. It doesn't really carry any inherent value. It's a typical narrative, a Yeti or a Bigfoot, you know. It could be pumped during the meme season on SUI, which is something I'm betting on by adding a small percentage of it to my portfolio. The next project isn't exactly a meme token, but I decided to include it in this category as well. This is Scallop. Given such powerful partnerships and integrations, I'm thinking that this coin and the network itself haven't realized their potential yet, even though it showed growth in 2024 and partially in 2025. Well, basically the market was growing then, and many projects showed growth. Now it's dipped, but I think the potential is still ahead. Also among the investors are DWF Labs, Qcoin Ventures, and others. This project allows lending crypto and taking loans against collateral. Essentially, it's a bank, but not quite a bank. The project seems very promising to me, considering who put money into it. Although it's heavily down now, which in fact is like the rest of the market, it's trading at around $2 million in market capitalization. No top exchanges yet, it hasn't shown anything yet. There haven't been any listings on top exchanges for it yet, which is why I'm betting on it and adding a small percentage to my portfolio, expecting at least a return to all-time highs. And after that, whatever the market allows. I also added this project to my crypto portfolio. It inspires confidence in me considering who invested in it. Although anything is possible in crypto, and even investments from such well-known funds often guarantee nothing, they just show that someone believed in them. But it seems to me, this project is super undervalued even considering the current bearish phase of the market. It hasn't reached any super high values, it's not on top exchanges yet, so maybe everything is still ahead. The final project in this selection, I think, is one of the most important projects in the SUI network. This is the Deepbook project. It's needed so that all applications trade through one common market with better liquidity. And if most trades go through it, the demand for the token itself increases, and essentially, it becomes directly dependent on the entire SUI ecosystem. Because if SUI isn't needed, then this token certainly won't be needed either. To sum it up, it seems like there are very big plans for the SUI network. To scale the network, you need liquidity, you need attention. The easiest way to do this is if they follow Solana's path through meme tokens. And here an interesting connection starts to work. Meme tokens attract attention and liquidity. As a result, the whole network starts to come alive. People start getting interested in it, buying, selling, exchanging. In this case, Hippo and Lofi are attention. Scallop is money, and Deepbook is infrastructure. The question isn't which tokens will grow to what values, but where the liquidity will go. And most importantly, will SUI repeat Solana's path? Well, based on what I see, it seems like it quite possibly could. I'm not giving any financial advice here, just talking about what I'm doing, about my actions. And if you want to be one of the first to know about potential future narratives, then subscribe so you don't miss the next video.